Welcome to Trimming the Musical Fat. I'm Stephen Nicholson. Thank you for joining me for the first show of our 11-episode mini-series dedicated to the singles of Prince between 1978 and 1989. Listen as we curate what we regard as the best under 50-minute single vinyl Prince singles collection. Today we're going to be talking about the singles from Prince's debut album, For You.
If you ask any artist, the music is a success upon creation. When you give it to somebody like a Rolling Stone or a Vibe and they start critiquing it, then your perception changes. But that's looking through somebody else's eyes. So again, we gauge success based upon what we feel in our hearts. We've shut our minds off now. Minds should be used for what they were made for, filing cabinets. We think with our hearts.
So here's the tale of the tape. So this is the first full-length studio album by Minneapolis musician Prince. It was recorded in Sausalito, California from October to December 1977. All tracks were produced, arranged, composed and performed by Prince, and he was only 19 when the album was released. So here's some facts relating to the album. So it was released 1978. There are 9 tracks on it. The duration of the album is 33 minutes. Chart position wise, in the UK, it did not chart here on its original release, only reaching 156 after Prince's death in 2016. In the US, it got to number 163. Sales wise, it sold just under 1 million copies, and its rating on rateyourmusic.com is 3.1 out of 5, and that's from just over 2,500 ratings. So the album cover is a headshot of Prince by Joe Giannatti, taken in a dark room with Prince's face lit by candlelight. There were 2 singles released from the album, and they are Soft and Wet and Just As Long As We're Together. So let's delve into each of them right now. So Soft and Wet was the debut single by Prince, and it was released on June 7th, 1978, which was the day of his 20th birthday. So the album had come out 2 months prior, and the lyrics to the song were co-written with Chris Moon. So the B-side for this release was So Blue, which is an album track from For You. So the single cover for this just came in a plain white sleeve. And there was no video for the song. So chart-wise, it got to number 92 in the US and sold 350,000 copies there. It was not released in the UK. So as mentioned already, the lyrics were co-written by Chris Moon, the producer, songwriter, engineer who discovered Prince in Minneapolis. And here's a fact for you. MC Hammer sampled Soft and Wet in She's Soft and Wet from the album Please Hammer, Don't Hurt Him. So I first heard this when I bought Prince's 1993 compilation Hits, the B-sides, and I have to be honest, I didn't like it at the time. I thought the keyboard riff at the beginning sounded really old-fashioned to me in 1993, so I used to skip the song when I played the Hits album CD. So have I changed my mind now in 2024? Yes, I have. I was wrong. I like it, and for me it's the best track on For You. It's just a great funky pop song. I like the middle 8 around the minute mark. It's well played, and it's just, to me, it's just hard to believe it's just one man playing and singing everything on this track. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rank each of these singles based on Prince's single releases from 78 to 89, and I would rank the song middle tier. So that brings us on to the second and final single from the album, which is Just As Long As We're Together. So the single was actually an edited version of the album track, and it was released in November 1978, and it was only released in the US. So the B-side was a For You album track called In Love. Again, the single cover was just a plain white sleeve, and there was no video for the song. So it did not chart on the US charts, or the US main Billboard chart, but it did reach number 91 on the Hot Soul Singles chart. So on 8th of April 1977, Prince recorded the song from scratch in front of CBS record executives in Los Angeles to show that he could play all the instruments and produce himself. And later in 1977, he did the same thing again in front of Warner Bros. Executives, also in LA, which just goes to show how talented he was. So for me, I actually first heard this song about 2 years ago, when I knew I was going to eventually get round to doing a podcast series on Prince. So yeah, I put it on when I went out for a walk, and honestly, I think it sounds like the theme tune to a late 70s, early 80s TV game show. I think it's primarily due to that descending keyboard line in it, you know, come on, that price is right. The instrumental coda to this song is a reconfigured instrumental track called Jelly Jam, and I have to say the single version of the song is superior because it excises it. The album version bangs on for over 6 minutes, which I'm sure was great to dance to in a club, but less fun as a pure listening experience. But yeah, I mean, it's a toe tapper, it's played well, like the Everything's Alright harmony around 45 seconds in, which is repeated in the song. But in terms of ranking it, top, middle or lower tier Prince singles, it would go in my bottom tier. Let's talk about the album these singles came from for you. So what was the critical reaction on release? So reviewing it in Chris Gow's Record Guide Rock Albums of the 70s, which was published in 1981, Robert Christgau wrote, like most in-studio one-man bands, the 19-year-old kid who pieced this disco rock, pop, punk concoction together has a weakness for the programmatic. Lots of chops, not much challenge. But I like Baby, about making one, and Soft and Wet, ditto, only he doesn't know it yet. So in a retrospective piece by Simon Price of The Guardian, published just after Prince's passing, he rated each of Prince's 37 albums and ranked them from best to worst. For You came in at 14, and he awarded it 4 stars out of 5. And he described it as an accomplished funk and soul debut from a precocious 19-year-old, but no hint whatsoever of the outrageously gifted talent that was soon to emerge. So I only heard this album in full for the first time about 2 years ago, again on my headphones when I went for a walk. And I should probably explain that although I am a massive Prince fan, I did not purchase any of his first 4 albums back in the early 90s when I became a fan, and that was because I didn't really like any of the songs I heard from that time period. So yeah, I didn't get my cash out to spend money on buying those first 4 albums. Therefore, I am hearing them in full for the first time by doing this podcast series. But yeah, the album For You, what do I think of it? I think it's alright. It's a product of its time, it's quite generic, it's safe. I think the most astonishing thing about it is that Prince played and sang everything on it at such a young age. Incredible. If you didn't know, you would think it's a full band playing on it. Song-wise, I don't think there's anything on it that's brilliant. However, it did have a bit more variety than what I was expecting. It's not an album I can see myself returning to all that often. However, I do like the fact that it's economical in its runtime, so it's only 33 minutes long.
Like trimming the musical fat, why not check out our other podcast, Trimming the Movie Fat?
So that's the music itself. What do I think of the album artwork, the cover? I think it's terrible. It's just so nondescript. I know that Prince went ahead and arranged this himself when his record label, Warner Bros., were wanting to do something else. And this is one of those occasions where I think he might have been better listening to them. So what are my 3 tracks on the record? Well, I would say Soft and Wet, which we've already talked about. I would say Baby, which is a sweet R&B song, and it sounds a bit like 70s Bee Gees. And I was surprised to hear an orchestra on it, or what sounds like an orchestra on it, and it just brings a real colour to the song. And reading up about it, apparently this was a song born out of Prince playing around with the concept of getting pregnant, and in it he's worrying about 1, will he be able to support his child? 2, should he marry his girlfriend?
Should we go on living together? Should we get married right away? Whatever you decide, I'll still love you, baby. And we'll grow stronger every day.
So the third song, my third favourite from the album, I would say is I'm Yours. And this just beat out So Blue primarily because we finally hear Prince properly getting his guitar out. I don't think it's an especially great song, and in fact I would have probably picked the title track of the album instead of it, but that is so slight at just over a minute in duration. So I went with this. And there is a recurring part in the song that sounds like Prince is channeling Miss Piggy from the Muppets. But yeah, Prince's guitar in this is great, and the funky opening kicks some ass. And a fact for the song, it's believed Prince did not play the song live beyond this time period, i.e. 1978, until a show 31 years later in LA. So what's my least favourite track on the album? I think it would be In Love, and this just beats out My Love Is Forever. However, that particular song has some cool guitar licks. It's inoffensive, it's simple. I just don't think in any way for me it's memorable, which is a shame since it's the first proper track on the album. I think Crazy You is an acoustic number. Baby has an orchestra. I think those couple of songs just have something different about them. This does not. And here's a fact in relation to it. This was the B-side to the album's second single, Just As Long As We're Together.
Hi. I'm Prince. So what seems to be the problem? How rude of me. I haven't given you enough time to freak out yet. You may do so now.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! There!
So where would I rank for you for the Prince albums between 78 and 89? So yeah, based on the others, I would have to put this at the bottom ranking. So I'm not going to do these episodes in chronological order, so you'd be expecting Prince from 1979 next, but actually we're going to jump forward 11 years to 1989 and Prince's album for the Batman movie. So that's where we're going to go next. So yeah, come back for that one, and if you want to tell us what you think about For You or Batman or Prince in general, please get in touch, and there's lots of ways to do that, email, Facebook and so on, and you'll find the links to be able to do that in the episode description. So thanks to you for watching and or listening, and I hope you come back for Batman 1989. Until then, keep trimming.
Trimming the Musical Fat podcast is a Stephen and Paul Nicholson production. Contact us via voicemail by going to anchor.fm/2tmf/message, or tweet us at musical trimming, or email us at trimmingthemusicfat@gmail.com. Keep up to date on the show by joining our Facebook group or visiting our website www.trimmingthemusicalfat.com.